Hey there, it's me, Nate, and today I want to talk about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is my old, beat-up copy. I think it was a hand-me-down from my sisters, so this is like a 20-plus-year-old copy of the first book of Harry Potter. Man, I already lost my track of thought. But yeah, like I was saying, written by J.K. Rowling, released in 1997. And growing up, Harry Potter, for me, was huge. I mean, it was huge for everybody in the late 90s, early 2000s. It really got me into reading, made me love reading. And it's just, obviously, it's such a special series that, even if you don't like Harry Potter, whether, the movies or the books, you know of it. Like, Harry Potter is a household franchise, a name, and it's just huge. I don't think there'll ever be another book or book series like it again. We have Game of Thrones, but even that isn't on the level of Harry Potter, when it was going. So, now, I don't know whether it was the originator or not, but Harry Potter is, without question, the most famous and popular academia fantasy book series. And even though it is, the first book, The Sorcerer's Stone, was written for children or for young readers, it is still all ages in a way that it can still be appreciated by an older reader going back to it for reread, like I did. I used to reread these books probably like every couple of years. This is the first time I've read a Harry Potter book in probably, like 10 plus years, perhaps. So it's been a long time for me, and I still love it. It's such at least this first book, because as the series progresses, the books definitely aged with its audience and became darker in tone and more mature. But this first one is almost a cozy fantasy until, like, the end. The ending conflicts and stakes. But, I mean, probably the first, like, 60-70% of the book is, like, basically almost, like, cozy academia fantasy. And it's a lot of fun. Because of our characters, because of the world, because of the humor, and the prose, that J.K. Rowling uses to establish the world. But before I get into the characters or, the plot, I should tell you what the book is about. Which may seem ridiculous to somebody watching this. Is like, why would you explain Harry Potter? Everybody understands what Harry Potter is. But I try to go into these videos making the assumption that somebody has crawled out from under a rock and doesn't know anything about anything. So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So, the basic premise is that Harry Potter is an orphan boy living with his aunt and uncle, and they abuse and mistreat him, and, while showering their actual son, Dudley, in gifts and, and spoiling him and giving him all of this attention, while Harry is this, like, lonely, quiet boy who actually lives in a closet underneath the stairs. Until one day, Harry gets a letter in the mail saying that he has been invited to attend Hogwarts, a school for witches and wizards. There's a bit more in there, but I'm, giving the highlights of the beginning parts of the story. And Harry finds out that he is a wizard, and his parents were both wizards before they passed away. And not only is he a wizard, he is arguably the most famous wizard of all time, as the boy who lived, the one who survived, and as a baby was able to turn back Voldemort, also known as He Who Must Not Be Named, who is the Dark Lord of wizards and was, committing all these terrible acts and killing all these people. But because of, what happened when the night that Harry's parents died, Voldemort disappeared, never to be seen again. And so now Harry has come of age to go to wizarding school where all the witchers and wizards go to learn the craft of magic. And yeah, that's the gist of Harry Potter. And it's so wonderful. Like, Harry is, he's this, as I said before, the shy, quiet boy who, as he is given the opportunity to, like, learn and be around people who don't just, like, openly despise him or, like, ignore his plight, he gains more confidence and a bit of arrogance, too, as he, like, kind of bathes in his fame a little bit. He becomes a bit more brash and bold, and like really like steps into himself, as he grows, over his first year at Hogwarts, and he makes friends for the first time. He meets and becomes friends with Ron, Ron Weasley on the train, who comes from this poor family, with a bunch of siblings. And Ron has all of these like hand-me-downs. He has a crappy wand. He has this ugly little pet rat. And then he meets Hermione, who at first is this sort of stuck-up, know-it-all type character, but through adventures with Harry and Ron, opens up and becomes like a true friend to the both of them. And our Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the three trifecta characters that, really carry this franchise forward, the series forward. Like, all three of these characters bounce and play off of each other so well, and J.K. Rowling was able to do that across all 7 books of the series, and it never gets old. Obviously, I'm just talking about the first book today, but still, like, it just can't be denied. Like, I truly love these characters. And, of course, outside of Harry, Ron, and Hermione, like, we have Harry's rival, Draco Malfoy, who is part of Slytherin, which is one of the 4 houses of Hogwarts. Because in Hogwarts, there's 4 houses. There's Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw. And each house has their own traits, and kind of like personalities inside them. Gryffindor is for bravery. Slytherin is for, cunning? I think is what the main thing. Hufflepuff is for, to be completely honest, I don't know what you would categorize Hufflepuff as. Like a one-word kind of, not bubbliness. I don't know. Friendliness? I guess Hufflepuff would be like friendliness or something like that. I don't know. And Ravenclaw is wisdom or intelligence. But back to Draco, is Harry's rival. Because at first, when Draco meets Harry, he wants to befriend Harry, because he feels that Harry, being as popular as he is worthy of somebody as noble and pure blood as Draco himself. But they have Harry pretty immediately has a distaste for Draco and, the way he treats people, especially Ron. And so, very quickly, they become enemies, rivals. And, like, their banter and relationship bouncing off of each other is so great. And he is a little turd, but Draco cracking jokes at Ron, I mean, they are hurtful jokes, obviously, but they're really funny. Like Draco making poor jokes about Ron, it's like, it's messed up, but it's pretty funny. And Ron is also a very funny character. Like, the humor, I don't usually laugh a lot of times when I'm reading a book or like playing a video game or something like that, but Harry Potter, like the series, is very humorous. I think I did have like a couple actual laugh out loud moments rereading this book. And outside of Draco, when we get to the school, we get to meet Snape. Severus Snape, who is the potions professor at Hogwarts. And Snape is such an interesting character, as a lot of people will know, that becomes more layered and interesting as the series progresses. But here in this first book, we just see him as like this serious, scowling teacher who, for some reason, has a really a great dislike for Harry Potter, and we don't really get much information on why. That doesn't come until later in the series. But in this first book, he just has a great distaste for Harry and everything about him. It takes every opportunity to belittle him or try to put him down within his bounds as a teacher and being professional. And we have, on the other side of that, we have Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore is the headmaster of Hogwarts and is widely known to be arguably the greatest wizard of all time, and the only wizard that Voldemort feared, which is why Voldemort never attacked Hogwarts. And Dumbledore, along with Snape, as the series progresses, becomes more interesting, and we see that Dumbledore comes off, at least in this first book, as this kindly old man who is powerful, but is almost like a jolly Santa Claus-ish figure. And I really like Dumbledore, and how even in this first book, like slight spoiler, very very slight spoiler, there's this part where Harry stumbles across this mirror in the school, and Dumbledore finds Harry there and warns him away from looking into the mirror too deeply, from like losing himself to it. And even in this first book, you get the sense that Dumbledore, despite being this jolly, almost grandfatherly figure to Harry, has this tragedy to him that's like between the lines, between the layers, that he has made such great mistakes and errors in his life. And part of him being a teacher and a headmaster is that he almost wants to, repay those mistakes that he's made. But, I mean, I could be mixing up inferences that you can see in this book with my knowledge of what happens in the future books. So, there is that. And outside of the characters, the world of Harry Potter is so charming. There's, this school, this world where wizards in pictures can move around. There's, these ghosts that just like roam the school halls. There's moving staircases, Quidditch, like their own version, well, not even their own version, their own game, their own international sport of the wizarding world. Gets, a lot of attention as Harry learns about the game. And it's so rich and fascinating, and it's just so much fun. Whether it's like, you get to see a Cerberus, or a troll, or a dragon, or, the classes that they take, and them learning spells. It's so much fun. I was honestly concerned that rereading this after such a long time, like, and me being an adult now, not that I'm super old or anything, I'm only 29, but me, reading this after such a long time, that I wouldn't enjoy it as much, that I think it was maybe too childish. And while I do think that it's definitely, meant for younger readers, it's still so approachable and so still fun to read for an adult or an older reader. It's one of my favorite things is that stories that are all ages stories, I guess, basically, that, could be meant for younger readers, but an adult reader can come back and still have a great time with it. And speaking of great times, that's what I will say for score-wise for Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. It's a great book, which for my scale means it's a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's great. I don't think it reaches it's like a masterpiece or anything by that, but the characters are fun, the world building is interesting, the plot, the plot is intriguing, though it doesn't really. The first half of the book is like basically all world building and introducing characters. The plot isn't really something that you come across until like the latter, maybe like 40% of the book, which in some cases would sound bad, but in this book, J.K. Rowling does such a great job of making you love like what's happening in the world and the characters so much that you're not even worried about the plot. And that's why I said at the beginning of this that it is almost a cozy fantasy. Because in my small experience of reading cozy fantasy, it really is more about like the characters and the warm moments than it is about like some great overarching plot. But yeah, like it got rambly there, but and I figured it would because I love this series. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah, so far I've been doing a video about every day. I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, I should probably have a couple more reviews. Yeah, I have one tomorrow, one the day after that, and then I'll be dried up on book reviews after that, so probably won't be until next week that I'll, have these out, and then at that point, it'll probably be something like a book a week review. So my, the upload here, upload schedule on this channel will slow down a bit, but I think that's fine. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? Like, what are your memories of it, whether it's from the movies or from the book series, whether you're reading it for the first time or rereading it. So yeah, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Or, if you have thoughts on how I can improve this content, what would you like to see or hear me talk about? I'd love to hear it. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a good day.